Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Film Angle. My name is Kris.
And I'm Alex.
And for you guys at home, it probably hasn't been like a long time since you've heard an episode. I think we had a 1 week gap. But for Alex and myself, it's actually been the first time we've recorded together for, what is it, a month now?
Yeah, it's definitely coming up to that. I know we kind of threw in a quick episode before I left. And then I was straight on a plane and I headed over to Canada for about 2.5 weeks. And then we've come back and then we have seen each other in person since.
Yeah.
And now we're recording. And it's good to see you again, Kris.
Yeah, it's good to see you too, buddy. It doesn't feel like a long time, though, since we've recorded one of these episodes, though. Weirdly.
Uh, well, maybe for you. Maybe for you.
Maybe your time has been a little bit more occupied, where it feels like a lot of time has passed. Where I've just been work.
I feel like so much has happened in between that I'm quite excited just to get back chatting about films with you. It's almost been like a very uneventful film viewing few weeks, despite the fact that having long journeys to different places in Canada meant that I could watch lots of films. But not being able to chat about them with you, or not being able to see like the latest releases, because like I wasn't going to the cinema. I like part of me every now and then thought about it, but to be fair, I don't think August has been amazing for films. Like in terms of new releases, there's been nothing crazy. I think everybody was scared of Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you picked a bad time to go away, to be fair. It's been a terrible summer, actually. It's like, yeah, everything was scared of Thor: Love and Thunder, and then it had no right to be because the numbers dropped for that really quickly, and then they kind of doubled down on Nope for the last couple of weeks, and but yeah, ever since that, I haven't really found much to go see. They've done a lot of re-releases in our local cinema just to fill up that space, but so it's been fun to catch up on things like that. But there's not a lot of new things to talk about, so you didn't pick a bad time to go away.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Not for missing anything that needs watching. And obviously, we're in the run up now to kind of the Oscar season as it starts.
Yeah,
Venice
we're going to
Film
pick up some more momentum.
Venice Film Festival is happening as we speak. Big releases like
Yeah.
Whale and Don't Worry Darling are all kind of making their premieres right now, and we'll be kind of jumping onto our cinema screens very soon. And next week, Kris, did you know this? Clerks 3 is out in UK cinemas.
I was so surprised when I saw that the announcement that the Clerks 3 was coming out so soon. It feels like it was only like announced like a couple of months ago, doesn't it? It's like a real needle drop.
Yes, yeah, I was. It kind of obviously Kevin Smith kind of announced that he's doing the same thing he did with Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which is kind of tour in different cities around the States and Canada. And every time he goes to a new place, it opens in that area. So he does a Q&A, does a series of Q&As, and basically that way you end up spending like £30 for the ticket. It feels worth it. Clerks 3
kind
makes
of like
a nice
the
amount
old
of money.
school. It's like what they did in the 50s and the 60s with road shows. Is it kind of like that?
Yeah, he's basically roadshow in the film. It's a really unique way, and it's very much worked for him in the past. And he did come over to the UK and do a few screens of Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, but he's not doing it this time. So it seems they're just kind of. I think there's only a couple
Much
of
to
days.
your dismay.
Yeah, I am. I would have loved to have seen him again, but yeah, I would have. I think they're only doing it on 2 days potentially to begin with, and then they might have a very short run. So yeah, I might be heading to the cinema next Tuesday night to get Clerks 3 in there. But we'll see how it goes. See how the screenings stack up when they start revealing them. Usually on Thursdays, which is always a weird one for the cinemas over here.
No, I know when it comes to Kevin Smith, you've got your priorities in check, and everything else that could be coming out is superseded by whatever he has coming out. So.
I just love the dude. I mean, like, he was kind of my first foray into podcasts, probably 10 years ago now. And when you've had somebody literally like talking in your ear every week, you start to build up a connection. Obviously, it's a one-way connection. But I'll support anything he does.
So, Alex, I want to know whenever you're really snowed under from a really heavy filled trip to Canada, what kind of movies do you put on for yourself when you're traveling around? Or is it Canada themed, or is it just revisiting some old classics or some old comforts? What were you up to when you were away?
Well, I think to begin with, we should probably start on the plane. Planes, when you're doing international travels, usually have a pretty good selection of films. And fair play to Air Canada. It's not an endorsement. They
It's
had,
it sounds like an endorsement.
it's not an endorsement. Delayed my flight back by 3 hours.
Okay, it's balanced out again.
Exactly. No, they do have a pretty decent selection of films. Um, they had After Yang on there, which hasn't even come out in the UK yet. So I was very fortunate to kind of get that in. I know you are somewhat jealous, but
Very jealous.
I obviously still watched it on a plane. However, I did think with the way that what is it called, the air pressure, the cabin pressure, and stuff like that, you are more likely to get emotional on a plane. So watching a
Yes.
film, so I was a little bit. I was like, do I watch this one? Do I not? But I did, and it's really sweet film. Colin Farrell's really good in it.
Oh,
Um,
no surprise there.
it's a very quiet, kind of like heartwarming sci-fi.
Mm,
It deals with very sad themes, but it's almost like having like a big old cup of hot chocolate before you go to bed. You're just like, oh, I'm nice and cozy here.
really?
It's really nice. It's just a nice little film that is very much about humanity and what makes us human, and what makes us feel things, and definitely worth catching out. We'll probably just drop on streaming at some point over here, I imagine now, which is a shame. I
It is a
think
shame.
because I know you and I were chatting about it earlier in the year when it dropped in the States. Like, I think we both would have gone to the cinema to see this one. You know,
Yeah.
we love sci-fi. We love Colin Farrell. I hadn't seen any of Kogonada's recent stuff, but I've heard
Mm,
obviously very good things. I know you
yeah, big fans
have.
of Columbus and things like that. Yeah.
So yeah, really worth checking that one out, and it's very short as well. So for somebody whose attention span was kind of all over the place on that initial day, that worked very well. But it was preceded by I kind of like was dreading seeing this one, so I thought maybe this is the best place to see it because it's just going to waste some time. It's a time killer, and that was Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore.
Oh,
A
that sounds like a great time.
It's just, yeah. I mean, obviously reviews weren't great for it, and I thought maybe the reviews were the way they were because of the whole kind of backlash towards J.K. Rowling at the moment, and rightly so. And that's I didn't really want to put my own like I didn't really want to go out to the cinema and watch it. The Fantastic Beasts franchise did nothing for me. Do you have any love for
For the
Fantastic
fantastic
Beasts?
No. I'm a big fan of Harry Potter. I mean, I watch Harry Potter like once a year,
Mm.
I usually do like a little run free quickly, they're just if it's on TV, I'll watch it. A Fantastic Beast, though, I really went into it, pretty enthusiastic. David Yates directing it as well, from directed the last few Harry Potter films, so there's some caliber there. But it's just lifeless and soulless, and it doesn't have really much going on apart from it. It's more like a fan fiction, it feels like, and everything feels like a downgrade. The special effects aren't really up to modern standards as well. The humor is a little bit of hit and miss. I don't know. It's a mixture of things. I don't think it's lacking compelling characters.
Yeah, it felt like a cash in, but then at the same time, they gave the reins to Rowling to actually write the screenplay, and I believe
Mm,
she's written the screenplay for every single one. And at the
yes.
time, on the first one, that was a draw. You like this? Obviously, this lady's written these books that have captured the imaginations of so many children, and now
Yes.
it's very much a setback. Where
Mm.
obviously she can't write screenplays very well, and
It's a completely different art form, isn't it? I mean, like being an author, like the job of an author is to, especially for fantasy writing, is to give the reader as much depth and diversity in the writing as much as possible. But when you're writing a screenplay, you've got to be really like strict of yourself. You got to be lean, and all the important stuff has to stay.
yeah,
And
she's not a very focused writer. I find like
mm,
like there's no main character, and that's even more so here. Like it's just an ensemble of weirdly mixed match characters that don't work together, and none of them feel fleshed out. I
yeah,
mean, even though we have had the same villain throughout these three films, he's played by three different dudes throughout the whole film. There's no continuity here. The films feel like different things, and none of them work at all.
It's the worst time to ever release a Harry Potter world related movie. It was it was just bad timing. I don't think anyone really liked the well, at least the second Fantastic Beasts movie, and it just like I think it opened to not really much fanfare. I don't remember the hysteria the last movies seemed to get. I think people have kind of I don't know. I think the Potterheads will always turn up for it, but I think the general audiences are starting to get a bit bored of
Well,
it.
it made like little to no money, so I don't even
Mm.
think the Potterheads are going anymore. You know, like I think J.K. Rowling's lost her reputation. Warner Brothers have had the issue with Johnny Depp, and you know, people are either
Mm.
happy that he's not there anymore or really sad that he was kind of cast out as Grindelwald. You have the fact that even though Dumbledore is, you know, a gay character, they were cutting gay scenes for the international markets, and they were only cutting 6 seconds of the film. There's really not a lot of gay in it,
Mm.
and it just does nothing for representation. And then on
There's not
top of
enough
that,
intrigue. Like in the story as well, you know where these characters are going to end up, and the whole thing, the premise of Secrets of Dumbledore is that it's a big fight for the death of Dumbledore and Grindelwald in the grounds of Hogwarts. Is that what my understanding from watching the trailers and you know from the artwork and the posters? But like, it doesn't seem like that's inconsequential because we know where the characters go. So there's no tension from that.
exactly, and on top of it all, number one supervillain in the world right now, Ezra Miller, is still in the film.
Yeah, they yeah, they're not the most compelling villain either. Rule number one of your movie, especially the first Fantastic Beasts movie: don't make your villain a cloud.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And do you know, I have no problem with Ezra Miller's performance, but obviously their outside antics really kind of put a sour note on it all. They look the
Yeah.
part. That's all I can say for the film right now. But yeah, I mean that one. What I think it was like 2 hours. It felt longer. Made the plane ride feel
Oh
longer.
man.
It was not the film
Yeah.
I should have gone
It's
into.
you watch it like I will end up watching it too, but more out of obligation and for being a completionist more than anything else. It's like it will be a chore, but yeah, I don't know. He knows I might like it. I mean, but you know, I didn't like the last two, and this one seems to be regarded as the worst of the three. So yeah, I'll be in the same club as you soon. I'm afraid.
Yeah, I think I really wouldn't know what to do. I mean, Warner Brothers are having a difficult time anyway. Right now, with their
Really, I
whole,
thought they were doing really well.
they seem to be imploding on themselves, and they don't know what to do.
Raking in that Space Jam money.
If I was them, I'd be paying J.K. Rowling for the rights the same way Disney did for George Lucas. Get rid of her name from from the franchise, and I don't know, HBO Max a TV show or something. Because I mean, there's a lot of potential in that world, and I think you can reap the rewards without those of us
Hmm.
who want to kind of see more
Well,
Harry Potter stuff feeling bad for doing so.
they do. It's funny though. I think people are absolutely fed up with the Fantastic Beasts Potter movies, but everyone's really, really excited about the Harry Potter video game. Like the Secrets of is it Hogwarts Legacy? Yeah, I
Mm.
think everyone's really excited. Me included. I mean, it's something fun about the grounds of Hogwarts and exploring and being a wizard. That stuff is fun, and I like that. But I think that's what the draw of those original movies were in the books were the school setting and that sort of quaint Scottish English feel with the medievalness to it. And once you plopped it into a 1920s setting and attempted to make it contemporary, it kind of lost its charm.
Yes, yeah, and obviously the very obvious like Americanization of it all. It
Hmm.
just didn't feel like your British quaint Harry Potter anymore.
Yeah.
It kind of lost some of that and just became a very grey blockbuster that nobody cares about.
Yeah. Can I say, you've been started off grey and you're minute by minute you're fading. I'm watching Alex on the webcam right now and he is fading to black. He is just a nose at the minute.
Let me turn the light on. Wait there, wait there. I'll turn the light on, even though we're in the middle of an energy crisis right now. Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, guilt trip me. Okay.
Do you know how much this has costed to record?
Oh, much better.
Ugh. There we go. Is that better?
Much better.
Riveting, riveting visuals on the podcast medium right now.
If you could see that. Yeah, so we don't rate Fantastic Beasts. Yeah, this hopefully this is the last time we ever talk about it, right?
Pretty much, pretty much. And those were the only two films I saw on a plane. So yeah, I I chose wrong. I think for the second one, I could have. There could have
Hmm.
been so much more.
I caught up with some interesting movies. I was a bit self masochistic too, actually. Um, I want to watch. I know you make a lot of jokes about Morbius all the time, and I want to relate to you. I'm like a son who is estranged from his father. I want to please you, Alex. So I watched both the Venom movies for the first time. I
Oh,
know.
you poor boy.
Yeah, poor boy. The first one was like at least it had a committed performance from Tom Hardy. I will give him that. Although he sounded a little bit like Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. If you close your eyes, he just sounded like that. Um, but he gives a pretty fun performance. But yeah, it is not my cup of tea, man. It is really self-winking and it loves itself when it really shouldn't. I don't think. I don't think there's much going on there that's really interesting. Um, it's just a muddy, ugly mess.
Yes, it feels like a film that should have been made in the early noughties. It doesn't feel like the kind of superhero film you get
Exactly.
right now. It feels like a really bad attempt at one when studios
Yes.
didn't know what to do with the comic book adaptations.
Yes. Yeah. That's so true. It's like, but that's a Sony thing, really, isn't it? Like that seems to be. I haven't seen Morbius, but that seems to be like prevalent in all their sort of superhero movies. Is that they're stuck in like a time warp, and it's the year is 2005, and we don't know how to make the Hulk. You know.
Yes, yeah, 100%, 100%. And obviously, Tom Hardy's having fun in those films. He's having a
Mm.
lot of fun, but everything else that goes with it just doesn't work. It's not really faithful to the comic books in any kind of way. Um, so it just kind of makes you
Mm.
wonder who it's for. So I guess you're just going for the comedy of Tom Hardy doing silly things because he's, you know, synced up with an alien. It runs thin.
It seems to work for a lot of people, though. I mean, I haven't seen it in cinemas, but when I saw the trailer in the cinemas, people were laughing at like the jokes that were coming off screen because they were. Well, this is for the second Venom movie I'm talking about. There was loads of jokes in the trailer, and people were lapping it up around me. I just feel like I'm not in on it.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they were laughing at it instead of
I don't
with
think
it.
so. No, this is belly laughing.
Because I think Venom 1 made, I think it made quite a lot of money.
People
Um,
love Venom one.
but do they? Because I don't think anybody
They.
turned up for Venom 2. I don't think Venom 2 made nearly as much money. And Venom 1, I think people just going because of the iconography of the villain and people being like, oh, it's edgy Spider Man. That's why I'm going to go watch it. And yeah, I
Mm.
mean, we all know the iconography of Venom. Just turns out he's not that interesting on film. To be fair, he's not even that interesting in the comic books. I'm just checking it out there.
Yeah. Well, we had that. Like, we learned with Sam Raimi when he wasn't interested in the character, and that kind of didn't turn out really good either. But yeah, he's just too goofy. I don't know. It's a bit too like, oh, there's bringing something external like an alien thing and making it very human and interacting with this. I don't know. It just doesn't really work for me.
Fair enough. And you ended up watching both those films?
I watched both of them in 2 days in a row in pretty quick succession.
Oh,
Um,
I don't think
I
I
mean,
could have
like at
done
least the
that.
second one's like only an hour and a half.
Yes,
Like
yes,
like the shortest superhero movie ever. But
yes.
yeah, it was enough.
Well, when we were at two different concerts the other night, Chris, I was watching the star of Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, Little Sims,
Oh, this yeah.
who does the song, and she played that as her final track at the festival, and I thought we're all singing about Venom 2 right now.
Yeah, that's where the world's at. Yeah, I don't know. Was Woody Harrelson good in it? I mean, Woody Harrelson's Woody Harrelson, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's difficult with him to know whether he was good or bad. He was just Woody Harrelson.
With different hair this time, I noticed.
Yes. Did you watch the post-credit scene with his, like, clown wig?
Oh, yeah, the first one. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
stayed for the post-credits scene. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And I was like, they Andy Serkis probably came on board as like, "I am not shooting the whole movie with this guy looking like that."
You can't blame him.
And
You
then
can't blame
you
him.
you you look up online and all these articles, or like these Forbes or Entertainment Weeklies where they try to justify like a pure inside movie logic why his hair changed, when it's like we all know it just didn't look good on screen.
Yeah, they were like, we've literally got Woody for a day. We need everybody who knows the comics to know who he is, so we need to give him red hair. Just whack this wig on. Let's do it. Let's go.
I've never seen hair like not suit a person's head before in my life. It looked like
Yeah,
Little Orphan
that
Annie.
was a rush job, and you can tell, can't you? I'll tell you
Yeah.
what. Talking of big, bulking, vicious aliens, I've carried on catching up with the Predator franchise. Uh, so
Oh,
yes, yes, I took a couple of train rides, and on those train rides, I watched Predator 2, and I watched Shane Black's The Predator, which is the
lay it
one
on me.
you haven't seen, right, Chris? You haven't seen The Predator.
The only one I haven't seen yet. That's right.
Oof, man, don't. It is weird, but it's interesting because obviously the other Predator films, I haven't seen the Alien versus Predator series yet, but the other
Mhm.
films are very much like they are horrors. They're like horror thriller sci-fis. This one
Yeah.
is just a straight up sci-fi. You don't really get much of the tension. It's very much like something's come to Earth, and it's a big ensemble of government organizations and a ragtag team of characters and a kid who are there trying to figure out what's going on. It doesn't even have kind of any closure. It ends on a bit of a cliffhanger, and it's all about kind of setting up a kind of, I don't know, like almost like a very marvelized Predator series sequel to come that obviously we never got because Prey was the next film that they released. Yeah, you can tell Shane Black maybe didn't have full creative control on this one.
You
Um,
think?
it just didn't feel like him. It felt like a studio film, and
Right.
I don't know. It just didn't work for me. And there's a lot of kind of like interesting characters with autism and PTSD and all these kind of like all these different quirks,
Half baked
and
ideas.
and it just
Yeah.
feels slightly like, obviously I can't speak because I have no PTSD or autism that I'm aware of, and it just feels kind of offensive. The kind of characteristics that some of these guys have, you just think like, this is a, I don't know. I can't imagine everybody was happy with the representation on screen here.
It's really odd. Like that is like a movie that doesn't really exist, really, because it's like one of those movies. Every time I have to remind myself that it exists, and I have to say, "All right, I gotta watch that one day," and then I'll just forget about it. And I don't really know many people who've seen it themselves. I mean, did it even get a theatrical release? I
Yeah,
think it did.
it did, but it made no money, I believe,
That's crazy, man.
which is
I mean,
why probably Prey just went straight to streaming.
and it was a big hit.
Yeah. But I will say this, Predator 2, flipping loved it. I thought it was excellent. I thought it was really, really stupid and really, really good all at the same time.
Yeah, that was the one I was expecting you to give the lowest sort of praise towards, but it has been so long since I've seen it, and maybe I need to see it with a fresh pair of eyes. I mean, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I think it was just interesting to kind of widen the world a little bit. And obviously, I've seen these films in a weird order. So to take the Predator out of a jungle and
So the
into
one
the
with Gary
kind of street.
Busey.
Yeah. And it's like it's a weird B movie cop film at the same time as being this Predator film. And there's so much weird stuff going on. It's so stupid. The action's ridiculous, but it's so much fun. Again, who knows? Maybe I was tired, but I had a blast with Predator 2. I thought it really was a pretty decent sequel. But I can imagine having gone from Predator to this with different expectations as to what the sequel might be, and then kind of getting this kind of LA cop B movie spliced with a Predator film maybe
Mm.
wasn't what people were expecting. But yeah, I mean, without those expectations, I had a lot of fun, and it was one of my favorites of the series.
Oh, I gotta catch up with it again because if you find some good stuff in it, I think I would probably too. So I think it's been since I was 10 years old. So maybe my dad pushed it on to me when we watched together that he thought it was a bad movie, and maybe I inherited that feeling. So
Mm,
maybe it's worth a new fresh pair of eyes. I think.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so, and maybe they don't. Those eyes don't have to be fresh, you know. I'm saying this is a good film to have with a
these
few
are
drinks.
these eyes are crusty.
These a few drinks and this film, I think, would be a lot of fun. I think you and I would have a good laugh. It's that kind of film. It's like
Next
so
time.
bad it's good.
Well, I feel like we've only talked about, apart from After Yang, we've only talked about bad movies.
That's true. Have you seen a good film?
I've seen three,
Go on.
and we've seen them before. Everybody's probably listening has seen it before. Obviously, the Reigns of Power show has just dropped on Amazon Prime, and I know a lot of people are excited about that. So it was a really good opportunity to catch up with the Lord of the Rings movies again, and they happened to be showing all three of them back to back in IMAX in our local cinema. Biggest screen possible, thunderous noise. It was the perfect way to watch Lord of the Rings. I was sort of like last year I'd watched Lord of the Rings quite a few times, and I was like, it's probably gonna be like 10 years before I watch this again. I'm absolutely done. My partner Lauren was really keen to go see these movies again. And whenever we went to see them, I was like, wow, this is actually the best time I've ever watched these movies. These are how they are meant to be seen. It is absolutely enthralling. Like, it doesn't matter that like they're 3 to 3.5 hours long each.
Mhm.
It's like it completely warrants it. I mean, those movies are absolutely, I forgot how much of a masterpiece each one of them are in their own right. In their own right.
They're absolute epics. Was it like extended editions in the cinema or no?
No, no, thankfully it was the theatrical releases, which I'm a bit of a bigger fan of. I've seen the extended editions before because I've had the Blu-rays, but they do not warrant the extra time. They're just padding for the fans, like extra, but they stilt the movie, so they don't. They stop it in its tracks. So it was much better. I was so happy to see it. It was the theatrical versions.
Interesting, interesting. Yeah, I don't think many people share your opinions because I know a lot of people think the extended editions are the way to see it. But yeah, it very much is. If you like Lord of the Rings, this is the way to go. I think if you chuck the
Yeah.
newbie into the extended editions, they're like, this is so long.
Yeah. Well, it was actually there was a bit of a mistake. We went to see the Two Towers, the second Lord of the Rings movie, and whenever it came on screen, like the BBFC age certificate rating
Mm,
at the beginning, it said Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers extended edition. And then it ended up playing the theatrical version, which was really confusing.
that's
Um,
very
I was,
confusing.
yeah, I was waiting for all the scenes I remembered, and they just didn't turn up, and I was kind of strange. But there you
Yeah,
go. But yeah, absolutely incredible. And then watching them back to back, like 3 nights in a row, is a real experience too, because it feels like you just watched one big long 9 hour movie. They
yeah.
really feed into each other, really build up. The crescendo at the end of Return of the King is just like amazing. I mean, there are a few people in our screening who were just bawling their eyes out during the last hour of the movie, and I don't blame them. I wasn't too far behind. Yeah, they deserve all the praise they have and will ever get.
What's your ranking then after watching them this
It
time?
changes so much every time, man. I mean, when I went into these, I was like, I really like the action packed nature of Two Towers, and then it came out actually. It's saying, yeah, probably my least favorite, but that's saying not saying something because all of them are masterpieces.
Mm,
I would still say The Fellowship of the Ring is my favorite. I think that is the most interesting, well crafted, well rounded movie that has a lot of soul to it.
nice, nice. That is my ranking as well. I would go Fellowship of the Ring, Return of the King, and the Twin Towers, the Two Towers. Yeah, no, I think they're all excellent, excellent films. Yeah, I remember fond memories of my dad kind of taking me to the cinema to see them over in Germany, and yeah, though I never
You're
saw.
not too young.
I think I was too young for the Fellowship of the Ring by one
Mm.
year. I was 11, and it was like a 12. And yeah, my parents, if they're listening now, they know I never forgave them for not letting me see Fellowship of the Ring in the cinema.
Did
Uh,
your parents ever sneak you in to a movie that was older than your age certificate?
Well, this is the thing. It wasn't a proper sneak, but the obviously we didn't have like IDs, and the Germans were a lot stricter on. Well, I guess everybody's quite strict now on the age thing, but they were quite strict on like even 12s and PGs even. So
Hmm.
what I would do, because I was quite small and lots of German kids are very tall, so I didn't look
You're still
the
very
age.
small.
So even though I was the right age, yeah, thanks. My dad would kind of make me wait by the stairs to the entrance, and he would go buy the two tickets, and then we'd go up
Nice.
together and stuff. So yeah,
See,
it was
that's a cool dad.
yeah, it was very cool. We had some good times, and then when the Hobbit films came out, we made sure to kind of go see them together as well. But those experiences were not as nearly as good as the Lord of the Rings, as we all know. Peter Jackson went full George Lucas.
Um, I have to tell you a story as well. Whenever it was 2007 and Hot Fuzz just came out, I was 11 years old, and we were so excited for Hot Fuzz coming out. Me and my dad and my mum went to go see it. Obviously, I'd being 11, it's age 15 over here in the UK. Couldn't go see it. Dad bought tickets for another movie that kind of doesn't exist, a comedy movie called School for Scoundrels. And he said, "Yeah,
Hmm.
free for there." We went in there. We were the only ones there. Dad said, "Let's go. Let's go. Let's change screens. Let's go into Hot Fuzz." Snuck into it. Just started. Got relaxed. Got the popcorn out. 5 minutes into the movie, a torch comes down the aisle.
No.
Guy taps my dad on the shoulders like, "Sir, you're not supposed to be in here." And then we were escorted out.
No, I can't believe you got caught. That's mad. I didn't even.
uh,
I thought once you were in the screen, that was it. Like they're not gonna do
well, I
anything.
think they were like, I think that no one else went to see that movie, School for Scoundrels, so it was an empty screen. It was like people bought tickets for it. There's no one in here.
Yeah, there's
So
supposed to
like,
be two seats in the middle row right now.
yeah, we tell that story a lot. It's quite funny.
Oh, nice. I like that. I like that. Is there anything else you saw that you would like to share, Chris?
Yeah, you know what? I watched a movie last night that I was really excited about because it was featured in Sundance and it had pretty good praise and it's a little bit different. I don't think many people are going to get around to seeing it and it's a real shame. It's a documentary called We Met in Virtual Reality. And virtual reality is something I've always been really interested in. Obviously, I don't have the money to kind of splash on the gear, but I would definitely like to delve into that sort of thing. I find those subcultures and those communities very fascinating. Because it seems to attract people who are introverted or consider themselves outcasts, and they manage to find each other in these little communities, and they manage to find a new sort of lease of life. And I think that's a really sweet sentiment. I know a lot of people are very against, the concept of virtual reality and that it makes our world bigger but smaller at the same time. And to some point, I kind of agree with that, but there is some sort of beauty in human beings really connecting with each other. They create these avatars where they can be people that they can't be in real life. They can be their true selves and project their personalities in ways they don't feel like they can with their families and their loved ones, or grieving processes and everything. And you meet couples, people get married in virtual reality. It seems like a really kind of silly concept, and at first it can be a little bit jarring, but once you settle in, you can really understand that these people, you know, are have really beautiful stories to tell. And it was at times it was really touching. There's some beautiful moments of soundtrack, all these subcultures. Like there's a woman who teaches sign language for helping hands on using VR chat. There is a woman who teaches belly dancing online through VR chat, because the whole VR chat uses body scanning. So
Mm.
it actually tracks your whole body moving. So you can go to dance classes, you can go to like lap dancing clubs, you can go drive in a car, you can go take plane journeys across the world together. It's amazing. The possibilities seem endless, and I couldn't help but feel really touched. The movie was all shot during lockdown, in COVID, so kind of the perfect time to tell a story like this. And yeah, it really speaks true to the times that we live in now, and really showcases the diversity and people, and lets us understand people in a way that maybe we're not always akin to. So I really liked it. I think it's worth checking out. It's on HBO. Max, and I think you can rent it at the minute. So yeah, we met in virtual reality. Definitely worth checking out.
Nice, nice. I will. Yeah, I'll definitely add that to the watch list because it sounds very interesting.
Mm.
I'll leave you with kind of like a good film that I did see on my holidays.
Great.
Um, so while I was there, it was International Dog Day, and I saw that Ethan Hawke had had posted a photo about it, and I didn't realize. I think you knew about this film, but I hadn't heard of this film.
Mm.
And Ethan Hawke was in like a Disney dog film set in the Canadian
He definitely
Yukon
was.
Valley, and I was like, "Well, I'm in Canada. I'm nowhere near the Yukon Valley, but it'll look nice anyway. I'm learning all about bears and all that kind of stuff." And I thought, I want to see Ethan Hawke, one of my favorite actors, with a cute dog. And I was missing my dog as well, and I had a really
I mean, I can't blame you for that. I mean, that's kind of like a match made in heaven for you. I couldn't believe that you hadn't seen this movie before. I'd never discussed it because I just thought, oh, Alex bound to have seen that anyway.
Yeah, White Fang. White Fang is the name of the film. What's the
Yes.
name of the dog? Yeah, it was really sweet. I really, really enjoyed it. Beautiful, beautiful landscapes. Uh,
Mhm.
a very kind of simple tale of these two characters, one being a dog and one being Ethan Hawke, as they're kind of they're going on their different journeys, and they intersect very near the end. I was expecting a lot more of them together, but they intersect pretty much for the third act to have their kind of stories combine and kind of as they help each other and all that kind of stuff. It's a very cute dog Disney film, and I don't know, I really liked it, and you could tell it was all shot there and maybe on a few sets and stuff like that. Like I just feel like Disney don't make films like this anymore. Um,
Mm.
Not in the same way where there's like no CGI and it's all properly trained dogs and cool stuff, and it's like cowboy times, and I don't know, and Ethan Hawke looks young and cool. I loved it.
I think there's something about the era, like the '90s nature movies, where they all have that certain look to them, and they really capture. There's no CG; everything looks so real and authentic as well. I think that's part of the draw. I mean, movies like The Edge are really good at that, where they really showcase places like Canada and Alaska, really beautiful ways. But yeah, I love a good Disney dog movie. I mean, they've done a couple. They've done a couple recently. They did Togo with Willem Dafoe, which I'm super surprised you haven't seen because one of your favorite actors and cute dog. Gotta
Yeah,
get over that one,
yeah. I
right?
guess my fear is that like all these new dog films are
Dogs
just
will
like,
die.
well, dogs will die, but then also I just like CGI dogs. I mean, I don't know about Togo, but what's the one that had Harrison Ford and it was just like a fully
Oh,
CGI dog?
Call of the Wild.
I'm so worried that like modern films are all going to be like Call of the Wild. I don't want that weird looking dog. You know,
I don't know. I mean, Harrison Ford with a CGI dog could be quite fun. Funny.
it could, but like I don't know. It just doesn't have the same kind of charm as like your Homeward
Yeah.
Bounds and stuff like that. Those kind of films we grew up on that were, I don't know. It felt like that. It felt very warming to the soul to kind of watch this kind of. It felt nostalgic despite the fact that I'd never seen it or heard of it before. I felt like I was like revisiting something from my childhood. I had a really sweet time with it.
That's really cool, man. Yeah, it feels like we talk a lot about dog movies on this
Yeah,
show.
maybe we should
We
change the name.
to the dog movie podcast. But no, I would definitely recommend. No, I wouldn't recommend. Have you seen Dog yet with Channing Tatum?
No, no, I am intrigued though. I am intrigued. I like Channing Tatum. I feel like
It's a
we haven't
weird
seen
movie.
him in a long time.
Yeah, and he co-directed this movie too.
Did he?
Yeah. It's a strange movie. It's like sort of sweet dog man movie road trip, but at the same time it takes a 20-minute detour in Portland, Oregon to have a rant about left-wing liberals.
No.
Um where he like takes time, goes to a bar and he meets people with like blue hair and everything, and they're the way he interprets them, and yeah, and he gets into hijinks with people that are have a bit more of a left view, and it seems like it's very skewed towards 20 minutes of hating that type of person, and then we're going to go back into the dog movie again. It's really strange. It's like an agenda hidden in the movie.
That's so weird. I just didn't expect Channing Tatum to be that
Mm.
strongly opinionated, maybe.
It's a very like US pro military movie.
Yeah, which I guess is his vibe, but to take that kind of like wokey liberals, I hate them, man. Get these snowflakes out of here feels just like a weird move from Channing Tatum, who just comes across, I don't know, as a more thoughtful person.
Yeah, yeah, it was a little bit disappointing and a bit jarring, but sort of funny at the same time because it was just so ridiculous and out of place, and I kind of forgot what movie it was. So yeah, check that one out too if you wanna if you wanna watch a dog movie.
Yeah, I kind of do want to see what he's done there. But yeah, no, I guess that doesn't make me want to spend any money on it.
Channing Tatum cancelled.
Oh, I hope not. I hope not. I do like the guy.
Well, Alex, it was so lovely talking to you again, seeing your lovely face on camera, flashing occasionally with lightning because there is lightning and thunder where you are.
Yes,
I can see
hopefully it hasn't ruined the recording too much.
that. No, it's great to see you again, buddy. We've got really good things to talk about in next week's episode. You managed to catch up with Nope, so we're gonna
Nope.
be talking a bit about that. Nope,
Nope.
nope, not
Nope.
yet. Yep.
Nope.
So we'll be talking a bit about that because I've seen Nope as well. So we'll share our thoughts. There are very interesting things to talk about in that movie, and yeah, we've got some good things to talk about. So I'm really excited.
Yes, I'm
Um,
very excited to kind of get back into it with you. Like we said, like we know the audience, it's not been that broken up of a kind of podcast
yeah,
schedule, but for us, it's been a while. But I think like we've had some time as well to think about the future. I think we're going to get some exciting episodes ahead and really kind of play through. We've passed the 25 episode curse of new podcasts. We are now,
yeah,
what's this, episode 27, 28? I can't remember.
yes, 27 or 28. You'll know whenever you press the button.
Yeah. We'll
We'll wrap our heads around it by then.
exactly. We're going to be more active on social media, so make sure you follow us there. And the
Yeah,
best thing for all kind of podcasts at the moment is like just tell your friends,
yeah,
tell your mum, uh, rate us on Spotify, rate us on Apple Podcasts, share us where you can. And yeah, it's all very much appreciated. The more you do that, the more we can get like a wider audience.
yeah.
And hopefully kind of more people interested in what we have to say. But yeah, for now, this is the latest episode of the Film Angle.
You lucky people.
Indeed. So yeah, that's it for tonight's episode. I'm Alex.
And I'm Chris.
Have a good rest of your week.